Well, hey everybody, it's Sandy, and I would normally say welcome back to my channel, but I guess I should be welcoming myself because I've taken a sabbatical that I wanted to talk about and explain, and I wasn't sure if I was really going to continue on YouTube. Still not. Let's see how many people want to tune into me after I say what I'm going to say. Anyway, it's been a while, and fortunately, unfortunately, whatever, there have been a lot of life changes in the last few months. So I've got plenty to talk about there, but I've had a few people contact me through the Facebook group and message me. And I got into this quagmire where I felt like my channel, I'm sorry, by the way, I normally don't like to talk to the camera with sunglasses, but there's just way too much light coming at me here. I felt like my channel had just gotten way too narrow and segued into only COVID. It was just timing is all, but it just ended up kind of only being about COVID, and I got really tired of talking about COVID. I mean, I don't mind talking about it some, but I also felt like my views on COVID and how to handle COVID, no judging. I think everybody has to, do what they feel is best for themselves on anything, actually. But I felt like my views had diverged at a certain point from those of most of my viewers. And I've now had COVID 3 times, and each time subsequent time was more mild. The last time I did not even take Paxlovid. It was like the mildest cold of my life. Thank God, I'm fine. I'm not really doing anything at this point. I'm like more concerned about something like the flu, which even though I had a flu shot, I think I had the flu last month. It was awful. But I just kind of felt like I got to a dead end, and I didn't want to be talking in a way that was, kind of irritating to really the bulk of my viewers. So maybe I misjudged that. Maybe it's just the people who were more vocal or the people who were participating more, like in the Facebook group, for example. But it just seemed to me like I had diverged very much from the point of view of probably the mainstream in my group of viewers, and the quantity was just way too much for me in terms of COVID. So I thought, well, how do I recreate my channel and get back to broadening my content? And it got to the point where I felt like it had just been so long that I was just uncomfortable going back online and saying hi, just because the more I waited, the worse it got, and the more I kind of wanted to say hello. So I had a couple conversations with people who were kind enough to message me and thank you. And the consensus among all of them was, people would still like to hear from you and say hi. So I thought, you know what? If they don't, I'll find out. And if they do, I'll find out. And so here I am. So I decided to say hi after a period of time. But the good news is I've got, plenty of life experience over the last few months with potential for new content that maybe people are interested in and maybe not. Let me think, what have I had happen? Besides, in my personal life, I've had one of my kids get married, which was really big and just really lots and lots of fun, and I'm just so happy for my children. Anyway, so I've had that. I did get into a car incident. I got hit from behind a few months ago. It seems like I'm recovering well, except for some ear ringing. I just have terrible tinnitus, so I'm thinking about what to do about that. I was thinking it's getting better, but it's not. I'm like learning how to tune it out. So that part's good, but it's still there, and I don't know what peace and quiet sounds like anymore. To make things worse, it was a hit and run, so the person hit me from behind. I was sitting still at a stop light, excuse me. I was several cars back in the intersection at a red light, and somebody just came around a corner and hit me. No brake screeching or anything. One of the things I learned that I'm going to talk about at some point is don't put a trailer hitch on your car. I don't haul a trailer, but I had a trailer hitch on my car that was designed to hold a trailer or a bike rack, and I had it for the purpose of a bike rack. And if I had not had that steel or whatever it's made out of, that trailer hitch, my bumper would have crumbled from the impact, because the car would have hit my bumper, not my trailer hitch. And when the bumper crumbles, it absorbs a lot of the impact, so you don't absorb it yourself. Well, that didn't happen. The trailer hitch took the hit, which jarred the entire car, and I absorbed the impact. So I have some like aches and pains that seem to be getting better. Somehow I twisted in my very low back, so I'm working on it. I'm exercising. I'm doing things to better that and strengthen it. And the ear ringing is bothering me. The other thing is that I think maybe a lot of my viewers will have some things to talk about, and this might be a series, kind of like my series after I did my thumb surgery. I noticed that I still have a lot of viewership about the CMC joint surgery that I did on both sides ultimately, and the last one was already like 2 years ago, I think, at this point, so it's been quite a while. My knees. So I've had a knee that was osteoarthritic with a patella tracking issue for years and years, and I had learned to deal with it. It was the bad knee, the other knee was the good knee, and as long as I kept the muscles around the knee strong, I was able to keep it from flaring and swelling. Well, fast forward about a year ago, I hurt the other knee, and it never really recovered. So I don't know if I've got joint replacement surgery in my future. I'm thinking about that, but I'm also thinking about, regardless, not even as an alternative, but even if I'm having joint replacement surgery this year at some point, I'm going to do some consultations soon. I am starting to transition my thought and my shoes. I'm thinking of I am already going a little more minimalist, and I might even go to barefoot shoes. So I see a lot of things on YouTube about that, but I don't really see things as they pertain to people like my age, like a mature woman, post-menopause. I see all kinds of things about barefoot shoes amongst runners. So I think I might very well do a series about my transition, and I'm not even sure I'm going to transition to those, but I'm starting to now, and I'm seeing how it goes. You know, if I have to go back, I do. But I am starting to transition toward barefoot shoes with zero heel drop. Right now I'm in a minimalist shoe, and I'm making that transition. It's not easy. It's not easy on my feet and ankles, but I'm finding that I think it's doing good things for my back and my knees. So let's see about that. That's another thing that I think maybe I'll do a few videos on if people are interested. Same thing with the knee journey, especially if I end up doing some surgery. I'm not sure I'm going to have surgery yet. But those are sort of the health-related things that I think are big and new that I want to track. And then finally, one more, which is that unfortunately I have now crossed the line into osteoporosis. I had a DEXA scan just recently. Not a big surprise. My spine is fine. I exercise a lot, and I exercise in my back. So it's my femoral heads and the hips. Well, not surprisingly, with my knees, over the last several years, I haven't really been able to load the hips properly because of the limitations of my knees. And so it's not a surprise at all that the hips crossed over into osteoporosis after menopause. And the one that's worse is the one that's been the bad knee for a very long time. I'm surprised it's not worse than it is. But I have started doing a few things for that. I'm not going to go on the biphosphonates at this point. I don't want to do those drugs. Again, I'm not giving any medical advice on this channel, and nothing I say should be deemed as a substitute for the advice of your own practitioner. But I have just decided that all things being equal for me, I don't want to get out the big pharmaceutical guns just yet. I am doing a few things, and I thought maybe I would do a series on osteoporosis as well if people are interested in that. So on balance, I mean, I know this sounds like I've just had a bad few months, but I really haven't. I'm just such a blessed person, so blessed and lucky. On balance, I've had a great few months. Like I said, I've had one kid get married. We love our new son-in-law. So I feel like we scored really big in that department. I'm so happy for my daughter. My son and my new son-in-law are very close already, so it's just wonderful. I feel like this is kind of the victory lap, you know, after all these years of raising kids. So it's just been a wonderful journey, and I'm just so happy about that. My husband has retired, and that's maybe I'll do a series on that too. That's a mixed bag, right? That's a good and a bad thing. Like, you got to kind of figure out your own stuff like separately from each other, because you're kind of in each other's face too much. But we do have an opportunity now for another victory lap where we can do some things together. So we are going to start taking Tai Chi, and we're also going to start learning bridge together. I'm a big Mahjong player, and in fact I teach Mahjong now. So a lot of people after they play Mahjong for a while, they graduate to bridge. So I'm really excited to do that together. And we've been walking together and stuff like that. So there's some really nice things about it, but that's a whole big life transition. Okay, so what do I have here? I've got the footwear transition, possible knee surgery. I've got the transition, I guess, in life to retired life as spouses. And osteoporosis is the big one because that's something I can measure against what I'm doing. So in one more year, I'll have a DEXA scan. In another upcoming video, I'll talk about what I'm doing, assuming people are interested, and what I've decided not to do, more importantly. So yeah, but overall, I'm feeling really well. I'm exercising well. My weight is incredibly stable, which I know is a big struggle for a lot of women, especially post-menopause. So I'm very, very grateful for that. My weight has been very stable. I've had a lot of good news on the health front. So every January, now it's the beginning of January, I do my doctor visits and things. So I always have my labs done in December, and any testing that has to get done. So like the DEXA scan, I recently had a coronary calcium test, and it was 0, and I was really happy about that. Not only because it's good to have a 0 calcium score, it should be 0, but more importantly, one of the things I'm going to be doing for the osteoporosis is I was debating about going on a particular kind of calcium, and this particular kind of calcium is said to not be the kind that really deposits in the vessels, but it's not really been all that well studied to my knowledge. So it's an added plus for me that I don't have to have now that decision-making process, like how much calcium do I want to take in the form of a supplement and risk putting it into my coronary arteries. I have kind of a funky lipid profile, and at almost 60 years old now, I think if I was going to be putting calcium in my coronary arteries, it would be there. So that was a lot of good news. So anyway, yeah, so that, I don't know, maybe the sabbatical was a good thing for everybody. I don't know, I hope so. I hope that you guys will message and say hi, and let me know if any of these topics are welcome, interesting, or what else might be. But I just really wanted to take some time and come back when there was something that I thought I could really sink my teeth into that didn't have to do with COVID. And it doesn't mean we can never talk about it in the Facebook group again, but I feel like I need to widen out the lens a little bit. Yeah. So anyway, I'm glad I finally worked up the nerve to come back and say hello. That was a really big hurdle, and I hope to hear back hello from all of you. And until next time, be well. Bye-bye.